Everyone's focused on whether the technology works. But one of the most influential artists of this generation just revealed what really determines whether wearable AI succeeds, and it has nothing to do with the specs or processing power. Lorde, the New Zealand singer and cultural tastemaker, went on the record saying Ray-Ban Meta glasses aren't sexy. That might sound like a casual take, but it's actually a dagger aimed at Meta's vision for the next decade. Think of smart glasses like this. They're a computer you wear on your face all day. The camera records what you see, the microphone picks up your voice, the AI assistant understands both and responds in real time. Meta built this with Ray-Ban and they work. They are functional, clever, packed with features. But here's what Meta missed. Nobody cares how functional a camera is if they don't want to be seen wearing it. You see, Meta didn't spend billions on smart glasses because people need to watch videos on their wrists. They spent billions hoping to create the next cultural essential, like how the iPhone became something you had to own in the 2010s, not just because it was superior, but because it was aspirational. When Lorde says they aren't sexy, she's not critiquing the engineering. She's revealing the gap between what Meta built and what the world wants to wear. This isn't a problem more processing power can fix. It's cultural, and that's why this moment matters. Ray-Ban Meta glasses look like regular designer sunglasses, and that's by design. There's a tiny camera built into the frame, microphones on the sides, and a small display that projects information into your field of view. You can record video of what you're seeing, take photos, translate signs in real time, and ask an AI assistant questions while your hands stay completely free. It's the most normal-looking wearable computer Meta could build. And Meta spent years developing this. The company's been betting on smart glasses as the future of computing since Mark Zuckerberg announced the strategy back in 2021, over 5 years ago now. They poured billions into research and development. They partnered with Ray-Ban, one of the world's most recognizable eyewear brands, to make the hardware actually look good. The strategy was genius on paper. Take a device that already sits on people's faces. Add AI and a camera, and suddenly you've transformed how people interact with information. Ray-Ban Meta glasses started shipping in late 2023, and by most technical measures, they succeeded. The hardware works. The AI is responsive. Users who own them generally like them. But here's the thing: Meta ran into technical success and cultural success are completely different. Wearing smart glasses means you're the person with the visible camera on your face. And when Lorde, one of the most influential voices in modern culture, says they are not aspirational, that's the kind of problem billions in engineering can't solve. So what exactly did Lorde say? She was asked about Ray-Ban Meta glasses in an interview, and her response was direct. They're not sexy, and she wouldn't wear them. That's it. 4 words that sent shockwaves through the tech industry because of who said them. Lorde, real name Ella Yeli-O'Connor, is a Grammy-winning artist whose music defines what's culturally relevant to millions of people, especially Gen Z and younger millennials. She's not just a pop star, she's a tastemaker. When Lorde wears something or says something matters, it actually matters because she has taste and credibility. The tech industry fundamentally misunderstood this. They built Ray-Ban Meta as a technical marvel and assumed that if the technology was impressive enough, people would want to use it. But cultural adoption doesn't work that way. Think of it like fashion. A jacket could be perfectly engineered with the best materials and construction, but if nobody cool is wearing it, nobody wants it. Lorde's statement wasn't a technical critique. It was a cultural one. She was saying, this device marks you as the kind of person who's enthusiastic about being filmed by a company's camera, and that's not sexy. Here's what the headlines don't tell you. Meta knew they needed cultural endorsement. They sent Lorde a pair to test. They wanted her to become the face of smart glasses adoption. When she politely declined, it wasn't a surprise to Meta. It was a failure of their core strategy. Here's where the pattern becomes undeniable. Tech history is full of products that failed not because they didn't work, but because they never became culturally desirable. Google Glass is the textbook example. Released in 2012, Google Glass was a pair of smart glasses nearly identical to Ray-Ban Meta in function. It had a camera, a display, AI capabilities. It worked just fine technically, but it became a cultural disaster. People didn't want to wear them because they visibly marked you as that person, the one recording everything around them without people's knowledge or consent. They were called glass holes. The device died within a few years, despite Google pouring millions into development. Compare that to AirPods, which arrived in 2016. They do fewer things than many competing earbuds, but Apple made them the cultural essential by getting them into the hands of celebrities and trendsetters first. Before launch, nobody was desperate for wireless earbuds. After AirPods became culturally cool, mostly because they looked sleek and people you wanted to emulate were wearing them, suddenly everyone needed a pair. Same goes for the Apple Watch. The first smartwatch was technically inferior to competitors, but by positioning it as a fashion accessory that happened to track your health, Apple made it cultural before it was functional. Ray-Ban Meta is stuck in the Google Glass problem, not the AirPods solution. Lorde's comment is basically saying you built something that marks you as either a tech enthusiast or someone willing to let a company live through your eyes. Culturally, that's not a look people want. The thing about products is they go through an adoption curve. Early adopters, the tech nerds, get them first because they love new technology. Then come the early majority, people who see it's useful but wait for it to be culturally accepted. Ray-Ban Meta sold millions of units, which sounds impressive until you realize that's just hitting the early adopter phase. The real test is whether the early majority, normal people who aren't tech-obsessed, want to adopt. That's where cultural perception becomes the actual product barrier. With the iPhone, people wanted to be seen with it. With Google Glass, people didn't. With Ray-Ban Meta, Lorde just told millions of people they probably don't want to be seen wearing it. She's culturally influential enough that she shapes what the early majority will think. If Ray-Ban Meta had gotten endorsement from Taylor Swift or Billie Eilish, tastemakers that Gen Z actually follows, the adoption curve would accelerate dramatically. Instead, it got rejected by one of them, which means millions of people will subconsciously think twice before buying. There's another layer to this that's even more important: perceived surveillance. Ray-Ban Meta's camera isn't hidden. It's visible on the frame. That's supposed to be a feature, transparency. But Lorde's comment reveals what people actually think. A visible camera means you're always recording. And people don't want to date someone who's recording, befriend someone who's recording, or work beside someone who's recording. That's not a tech problem. That's a fundamental human problem. So what does this mean for the future of augmented reality? If Lorde's concern and her cultural influence actually shapes adoption, then Meta's entire long-term strategy might be in trouble. The company has been betting that AR glasses represent the next computing platform, like how smartphones replaced computers in the 2010s. Mark Zuckerberg has said he believes AR will eventually be as essential as the internet itself. But if AR glasses can't achieve cultural desirability, they'll stay a niche tech curiosity for decades. This also reveals something crucial about how AI gets adopted by the mainstream. It's not about capability. Claude and ChatGPT succeeded partly because people could use them anonymously at a computer, where existing norms already applied. But wearable AI that's visible and records everything, that's breaking a social norm that's been in place for thousands of years. You don't have a constant camera on your face around other people. Until that norm changes, visible recording devices will always feel invasive, no matter how much compute power you pack into them. There's an irony here too. Meta bet its entire future on people wanting to wear technology continuously and share their experience with an AI ecosystem. Ray-Ban Meta glasses are supposed to be the bridge to that future, but they are failing the most basic test. They need to be something people want to be seen wearing. And Lorde just said they are not. What actually makes a product sexy in the cultural sense? It's not the specs. It's not the performance metrics. It's usually three things happening together. First, it needs to say something positive about the person wearing it. When you buy an iPhone, you're implicitly saying you care about design and technology. When you buy AirPods, you're saying you're aspirational and tech-forward, but also sophisticated. When you buy Google Glass, you're saying you're the kind of person who values recording over social connection. That last one was never going to win. Second, it needs to be invisible or beautiful enough not to distract from you as a person. AirPods are small white dots. Sunglasses have been fashionable for decades. A chunky camera strapped to your face becomes the thing people see first, before they see you. Ray-Ban Meta tried to make the camera blend in by putting it in a designer sunglasses frame, but it's still there. It's still visible. It still codes as I'm recording you. Third, cultural products need to be adopted from the top down. Celebrities have to want to wear them first. When celebrities wear something for cultural reasons, not because they're paid to, but because they actually like it, normal people follow. That's how subcultures become mainstream. Ray-Ban Meta needed Lorde and her peers to volunteer to wear them. Instead, Lorde just said no. And when a cultural leader says no, millions of people listen. That's the real power Lorde just wielded, and Meta knows it. Here's what this moment reveals. The barrier to the next era of computing isn't technology anymore. It's culture. NVIDIA can design better chips. Engineers can build better cameras and displays. But if people don't want to be seen using the device, engineering excellence doesn't matter. Ray-Ban Meta is technically sound. It's beautifully designed. And it's socially awkward in a way no amount of engineering can fix. The real lesson for tech companies is that they can't innovate culture into acceptance. You have to start with people who actually want the thing before it's cool. The Nintendo Wii wasn't powerful, but millions of people wanted to wave a remote around in their living room. AirPods weren't better than other earbuds, but they became essential because people wanted to be seen wearing them. And Ray-Ban Meta, despite being legitimately useful, is fighting the perception that wearing a visible camera is fundamentally strange. What to watch for next? Meta's going to have to either redesign the glasses to be less obviously a recording device, maybe AR lenses that don't look like cameras, or they're going to have to change strategy entirely. Because Lorde just said out loud what millions of people already felt. She put a name to the unease. And that changes everything for how we think about wearable AI. The next breakthrough in computing won't come from better engineering. It's going to come from culture changing its mind. Follow for daily AI news as this story develops.